Let's move on to main topic number 4. Kaylee, what is our 4th main topic today?
John, our 4th main topic comes to us from Synced Up. I can't believe this day has seemingly finally come. One of my favorite Spider-Verse characters, Silk, apparently has a show on its way to Amazon. The show is supposed to be called Silk, Spider Society, and produced by Lord and Miller as well as Angela Kang. I read on Variety, and now I cannot stop grinning that Sony is finally trying other characters besides Peter Parker. What do you guys think? Bring on the filthy. John, what are you excited for a Silk series? Would you watch it?
I'm still getting over the shock of like, wait, what? Live action Spider-Man series. First of all, live action Spider-Man universe series and coming to Amazon? I've got a couple of thoughts about that, but we'll get to that in a second. Here's what's going on. This comes from the folks over at CBR who wrote the following. Sony has announced a partnership with Amazon Prime Video and MGM Plus to bring a slate of live-action series based around the Spider-Man comics from Marvel. The multiple series will center around the Sony Pictures universe of Spider-Man characters, which includes over 900 characters. Sony's new deal will begin with Silk, Spider Society, revolving around a Korean-American woman named Cindy Moon who gets bitten by the same spider that bit Peter Parker. Her adventure follows her as she escapes imprisonment and searches for her family, all while learning how to handle her new abilities as she becomes the hero known as Silk. As part of the recent multi-series deal, Angela Kang, the former showrunner of The Walking Dead show, will serve as showrunner. Kang developed Silk Spider Society alongside Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse producers Phil Lord and Christopher Miller and Amy Pascal, all of which executive produce the new series. And that comes to us from CBR. All right. Let's just take a step back for a second. Live action Spider-Man universe stuff, and it's going to Amazon. I had a buddy of mine text me this morning and say, why on earth would they not make this deal with Disney and have these live action Spider-Man shows on Disney Plus? And I thought of 2 reasons why not. Reason number 1 is that I think, despite the fact that they've done these little crossover things like J. Jonah or even Venom popping up in a post-credit, whatever, I think that maybe Sony and Marvel still want to keep that distinction that these are not the same thing, right? And if you put these live action Spider-Man series on Disney Plus, they are absolutely going to come across the audience as if, oh, this is all in the MCU. And there's probably a bit in play here that Sony wants to make sure it's clear that it's not, and maybe even Disney wants to make it appear it's not. Or there's a second big option. Amazon Prime just offered more money. I mean, if you're Sony and you're going to make these live action series and Disney says, great, we'll give you $500 million, and Amazon comes in and says, we'll give you $1.2 billion, well, you're going to go with Amazon. By the way, I'm totally making those numbers up. Those are completely theoretical numbers I threw out there, but I mean, it's very, very probable that maybe just one of them offered more than the other one did. But I think it has more to do with the first reason. All right.
Well, there's a third reason.
What's the third reason thing?
Lord Miller.
Well, I mean, yes, Lord Miller.
Lord Miller. Goodbye.
Now, I was going to get into this here too, because one of the things that really excites me about this is, besides the fact that you've got, the showrunner from Walking Dead, which has, say what you want, I tapped out of the show a long time ago, but it has maintained incredible numbers and an incredibly passionate fan base. On top of that, you have Lord Miller, who I believe have made the greatest Spider-Man film of all time, which is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I think this is the greatest Spider-Man movie ever made. And so they're behind that. This gives me a lot of hope, but again, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this about live action Spider-Man characters running around. I'm assuming they're going to be in the same universe as Venom and Kraven. I mean, but I don't know.
But if you were Lord Miller, who were fired off Solo, would you ever work for Disney?
Yeah, it's business. It's business.
I wouldn't trust that it was business to make a movie.
I mean, and they wouldn't actually have a choice in the matter. It's Sony deciding who's, because guess true. What? If Sony did, let's go back to my theoretical. If Sony got offered like 300 million more by Disney Plus, they'll go, oh, boo-hoo, pull up your big boy pants, Lord Miller. This is business. We're getting $300 million more. And, they got fired. They know why they got fired off of Solo.
The holidays are officially upon us, and it's time to start celebrating. Do your thing and holiday your way with MeUndies. Because it's the most wonderful time of the year to try MeUndies, because they're currently offering a very merry deal. Get 20% off your first purchase with free standard shipping and free returns when you go to MeUndies.com/Campea. Guys, you know I've been wearing MeUndies for a while now because I used to be like everybody else. I would go to the big store, buy the biggest box of the most generic underwear, and I thought that was good enough. But ever since I started MeUndies and started wearing the most comfortable underwear I have ever worn in my life, I swear on this Christmas season, I will never go back. So get your holiday shopping finished early and start making time for yourself with the new MeUndies holiday collection. Their undies, long underwear, and sleepwear are made out of the softest, most supple fabric you've ever felt and are guaranteed to bring you comfort and joy to all of your loved ones. Shop their classic plaid prints for a traditional, picture-perfect style, or get festive with their adventurous limited edition sweater prints. Available in sizes extra small all the way through 4XL, MeUndies has what you need to make all of your favorite people smile this holiday season, all in one convenient place. So to get 20% off your first order, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/Campea.
No, I know, but I think that Lord Miller, you know, they made an Academy Award-winning Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
I think they wield a hell of a lot of power at Sony. They've got Across the Universe coming out part 1 and 2.
And they look great. We saw a good preview of them.
I'm sure Sony's like, what do you guys want to do? Well, they've probably made them the de facto leaders now of the Sonyverse, more so than Amy Pascal in terms of.
I don't know that I believe that because I haven't seen their names anywhere attached to either Morbius, Kraven the Hunter,
I know what,
Venom.
and for good. I mean, that's the problem. They looked at Morbius and they're like, yeah, no. And you look at this show. This isn't one show.
This is going to be a series of shows.
We've got 900 characters. I think Lord and Miller have become the Kevin Feige, James Gunn, Peter Safran, Walter Hamada of Spider-Man. I think those guys now, and I'm sure Amy Pascal said, great, you know, because she's producing all of it anyway. And I think that's what they're going to do. And they're going to create their own continuity, universe, all that. I think that's what they're doing.
I think a more applicable analogy would be that you just named her, Amy Pascal. I think Amy Pascal is probably the Kevin Feige, James Gunn of that, and Lord Miller are like her Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. But I mean, or not at all, because we haven't seen them develop anything else. But this is a series of stuff they say they're going to do. Chris, yeah, listen, I'm going to tell you, not a lot of news comes out that completely shocks me. Yeah. This completely shocked me. What do you take away from this?
Oh, man, the Amazon thing is weird, but I'm just so excited that I don't even care at this point. She's such a cool character, and she's a newer character, too. We didn't see her till about, 2014, I think is when her issue came out.
Yeah, she's new.
And there's some really wild stuff with her. Amazon will allow this to be a much more adult show, though, than I think we would get from, like, doing Disney Plus or something like that.
The network that put out The Boys and Invincible.
Exactly, because we deal with a lot of trauma here. I mean, when we first meet Cindy Moon, aka Silk, she's been in a bunker and she's sex crazed and wild and uncooperative. And then we get into some solo things later on, like anger issues, where she's in therapy and she's working through all of this trauma and being kind of held captive, but being able to have left at any point in time too. Yeah. It's a very, very interesting character study on, hey, what would happen if you got bit by a spider, but you didn't have familial support, if you didn't have a loving home, if you weren't raised in a way that showed you that great power comes with great responsibility, right? It's really, really cool. And I think having a more quote unquote adult network or streaming service behind this allows them to have a lot of fun.
I also think you're right, John. It's more money.
Probably.
Because it's not just that. I think there's more creative freedom. They're unfettered by what Marvel would want them to do or what Disney would want them to do. I think it's a combination of all of these things. And I think ultimately we'll get a better show out of it. And I think that, I think Morbius was a blow to their plans.
Oh, it absolutely was.
I think it was a big blow to their plans and what they needed, and I think that Morbius was a film, and again, I've not heard this, but the same way that David Ayer's Suicide Squad was interfered with by the studio itself, Morbius smacked to me of being interfered with by the studio, because it should have been an R-rated, go for the jugular vampire thriller or whatever, and it just wasn't.
Well, the thing with that is it really shines if you take it minute by minute. Yeah, that's where you really find the strength in Morbius.
Which is why, starting 2 Fridays from now, will be the Morbius Minute with Ray Ora. We would go into a deep... You know, Morbius should become the Room of comic book movies.
Oh my gosh,
We're
we all just throw Capri Suns at the screen.
Where like
Wow.
every 3 months, people get together for midnight showings of Morbius. And at some point, they do a Disaster Artist 2 about how did Morbius get made.
That'd be the best thing that could happen to it after Ray Ora's Morbius Minute.
Morbius, and he literally tears somebody apart.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? There are live action Spider-Man spin-off shows coming to Amazon and MGM Plus. I mean, and then the question becomes, will they incorporate other Spider-Man, like actual Spider-Man, into this at some point? Could we see a Tom Holland or an Andrew Garfield? Or
That's all I want.
I mean, it opens up the doors, I suppose. Will this become a feeder place for the Sony movies, much like Marvel uses the Disney Plus shows as feeder for their cinematic universe? I don't know. It's all crazy. Out of all this stuff, though, that's coming out, what stands out to you? Do you think this sounds exciting? I'll tell you what, I think the name's Lord Miller being attached to this is what makes this exciting for me. If they can bring the same kind of magic to this that they brought to Spider-Verse stuff, we're in for a good ride. How do you guys feel about it? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there.